Rudy Giuliani was served with an indictment over the Arizona 2020 fake elector scheme during his 80th birthday party late Friday. The ex-Trump lawyer is the latest in a string of Trump allies and lawyers charged for trying to prevent the lawful transfer of power after President Biden won the election fairly. Giuliani was served 2 hours after boasting on social media that he would evade charges, taunting Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. Guess what? His posts have since been deleted. Anthony Coley and Christy Greenberg are back with us.
Attorneys who can't take their own advice, Michael, is what I thought when I saw that tweet posted and then deleted.
So rich.
Here's the thing, Anthony. Here's the reason it was important to me and Michael to make sure that we had this story in the show today, which is we have all been hyper-focused on the New York trial for very good reason. There is a large appetite in this country to see some accountability as it relates specifically to the question of the way in which Republicans, Donald Trump and his allies, have messed with the integrity of our election outcomes, right? So while that is happening in New York, it's not entirely disconnected from what we're watching outside of Arizona. And it is a reminder, it's not just about Donald Trump as an individual being held accountable. It is about, one, the entire cabal that supported and worked with him to undermine our elections. And it is about making sure that in the run-up to this presidential election, you are broadcasting to anyone who might want to try any of these shenanigans again, that it is not going to happen, not here, not in the United States, without consequence.
That's exactly right. The entire cabal is the right way to describe it. You know, and Alicia, we often talk about Trump's efforts to steal the last election as the big lie, and it is that. But it is also a big conspiracy. It's a conspiracy that played out with multiple players in multiple states, in Georgia, in Michigan, in Nevada, in Arizona, what we're talking about today. What amazes me, Michael, about this entire scheme is the arrogance of it all. And the fact that they, all of these co-defendants, they ignored that 60 court cases, 60 courts across the country, including 8 in Arizona, affirmed Joe Biden's win over Donald Trump. And I'm going to step back for a second. I've never made this analogy on air, but because the fundamentals are different, but I think the outcome is the same. Michael, I worked on the Gore campaign from the Iowa caucuses all the way to the Florida recount. And when on December 13th, 2000, when the Supreme Court ruled in George W. Bush's favor, I was crushed. There were millions of people who supported Gore. We were crushed. The people who worked on his campaigns were crushed. But that didn't give us license to ignore what the court had found. We accepted the results. And that's what these folks in the Trump orbit should have done. Instead, they ignored the facts. They worked around the law. And Alicia, that is why they are on the cusp of criminal accountability right now.
So I think very much to that point, Christy, you had Giuliani doing a live stream of his birthday party with his guests, of course, which includes Steve Bannon and Roger Stone. Unfortunately, the live stream didn't show him being served. That would have been really fun. But I do want to play for you a little bit of sound from Steve Bannon making a promise to Rudy Giuliani on his birthday.
This is how dangerous they know this guy is. They have every instrument of state power to crush Rudy Giuliani, to bankrupt him, to put him in jail, to smear him. We're not going to let it happen. Okay. You're not only too good a man, Rudy, at 80 years old. How many people at 80 years old? Your moment's now finally come. This is when America needs you the most, right? Right. Thank you. Right. And we're not going to win in 2024 unless you're a major part of this.
So, you know, the nonsense that Bannon said notwithstanding, the reality of it is he got served. And so the justice system rolled past all of that. Speak to us a little bit, Christy, about the importance of this indictment relative to all the other plays that we've seen out here that have been unfolding, some now stymied, as we see with, the case, the prosecution here in Washington and elsewhere with Jack Smith, everything's slowing down. Talk to us about why this sort of changes the game, maybe a little bit at the margins.
Well, I always just take a step back when thinking about Rudy Giuliani and just remember that he's not only an attorney, he is the former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, my old office. I mean, this man was the top prosecutor in Manhattan. And so for him to be mocking other law enforcement, others who are just trying to serve him with papers and try to skirt the law is just, it's just so astounding to me. Look, he has now been charged in Georgia in connection with similar fake elector scheme there. Now he's charged in Arizona. He has come up in this New York case as the person who is trying through his good friend Robert Costello to establish a back channel to Donald Trump. We know he's been found liable of defamation of, the workers, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss in Georgia. I mean, it just, his legal troubles just keep mounting. And at some point, as Lisi said, there has to be some accountability. And again, I think Arizona is just yet another step towards that accountability.